You're standing in a cathedral filled with gold. Light streams through the stained glass, painting the floor in ruby and sapphire. The air is thick with incense. Nobles kneel before you. Priests chant your name, their voices echoing off the walls. And above it all, the crown of Russia is being lowered onto your head. You were born a nobody, a shadow in the streets, unnoticed, forgotten. But today they call you Tsar. The real Dmitri has been dead for 14 years. No one talks about it, but everyone knows. And now, history is watching you. The crown feels heavy. Heavier than gold. Heavier than any secret. Inside, your heart races. Fear, guilt, ambition, all twisting together like a storm. You lift your chin, forcing a calm smile. The crown touches your head. Cold, heavy, final. In this moment, the cathedral isn't just filled with gold. It's filled with lies. Shadows stepping into the light. A nobody claiming a throne meant for someone else. And the world will never know how close it all came to falling apart. You start with nothing, literally nothing. No family, no connections, no money in your pocket, just a ragged coat and the kind of hunger that gnaws at your bones until you can almost hear it whispering your failures. You're a monk, a wanderer, a bitter shadow drifting through the streets of Russia at the turn of the 17th century. Some days you eat, some days you don't. Most days, you wonder if anyone even remembers you exist. Russia itself is a kingdom on the edge of collapse. Ivan the Terrible is dead. His family line fractured, leaving the country in chaos. His youngest son, Dmitri, supposedly murdered as a child, vanished from history, or so everyone believes. Some say it was an accident, some say poison, some whisper of a throat slit in the dead of night. Most people believe he's dead, but not everyone. And the opportunity presents itself. In early 17th century Russia, power doesn't sit only on the throne, it sits in the hands of the boyars. They are the highest nobles beneath the Tsar, who are ancient families with vast estates, private militias, and seats in the royal council. They collect taxes, command armies, and whisper decisions that become law. When a ruler is strong, they bow. When he's weak, they calculate. And right now, Russia is unstable. The throne is contested. Famine stalks the countryside. The air smells like power shifting. And the nobles see it first, before anyone else dares. They're hungry for power, hungry to manipulate the chaos for their own gain. You are nobody. They are everybody, but they see what you could become. They've been watching. A rumor here, a fleeting glance there. You're small, weak, unknown. Yet they offer you soldiers, protection, money. All you have to do is speak the words that will change your life forever. I am Dmitri, son of Ivan. Once those words leave your lips, there is no going back. You hesitate at first, trembling like a man staring into the maw of a wolf. But the hunger inside you, the hunger for survival, for respect, for something beyond being invisible, beats down your fear. And so you do it. The nobles have chosen you as their tool, their pawn, their impostor prince. They want you to perform, to play the role convincingly. But even with their backing, they won't blindly trust you. You still need to prove yourself. So, the first time you step into a noble's hall, it feels like stepping onto another planet. Marble floors stretch endlessly beneath your feet. Gilded walls glint under candlelight. Priests bow as you pass. Soldiers glance your way with suspicion. Every pair of eyes weighs on you like iron chains. Here, every gesture, every word, every pause is a test. Not just of your memory, but of your nerve. A slight tremor in your hand, a faltering note in your voice, a hesitation in your step. Any one of these could reveal the truth. And yet somehow, you survive. Somehow, they believe you. Poland and other foreign powers see an opportunity too. To them, you are a tool, a weapon, a way to exploit the chaos in Russia for their own gain. And you realize something important. Being a nobody is now your greatest advantage. You're malleable, replaceable, disposable. You can be molded, shaped, and sent wherever they choose. And so, you begin your rise. First, it's small victories. A letter delivered, a handful of soldiers assigned, a minor noble convinced you are truly the lost prince. You taste influence for the first time. It's intoxicating. The money, the respect, the fear in the eyes of those who once ignored you, it all becomes addictive. But the higher you climb, the more dangerous it gets. Russia is a fractured kingdom. The throne is weak, contested by boyars, foreign powers, and ambitious nobles. Every faction sees you as either a tool or a threat. Every step upward feels like climbing a knife's edge. The people you thought were allies begin to look at you with suspicion. Every glance becomes a potential betrayal. Every whisper in a hall could be a plot to end you. You sleep with one eye open, listening for the creak of a floorboard, imagining poison in your wine, daggers in the shadows. The crown of Russia is no longer a dream. It's a target painted on your back. You meet your first real test when you arrive in Moscow. The city is a living beast. Narrow alleys, crowded markets, eyes on you everywhere. Nobles who once smiled now study you, testing your knowledge, your manners, your memory. One wrong word, one slip, and it could be your last. But fear sharpens you. Every glance becomes information. Every whisper, a signal. You learn to anticipate danger, to read people like open books, to turn hesitation into strategy, deception into leverage. By the time Moscow begins to accept you, you're no longer just surviving. You're influencing, commanding attention, bending the city to your will without lifting a sword. The streets, the nobles, the whispers, they are yours to master. You gain more followers. Soldiers, nobles, men who will fight and die for the prince they now believe you are. You feel power coursing through you, heady and dangerous. You taste wealth you never imagined. Silk, gold, food that doesn't rot, wine that doesn't taste like vinegar. You're no longer a monk wandering the streets. You are someone, a symbol, a prince reborn. But with every step, the paranoia grows. Letters arrive in the dead of night. Some are warnings, others are threats. You start to question everyone. The noble who bows before you, does he kneel out of loyalty or does he plot your death? The soldier who salutes, does he swear allegiance or is he a spy? You do not trust anyone, not even yourself. You lie constantly, even when no one is watching. You invent memories, rewrite history, shape reality around you, and somehow it works. And then it comes, the first real danger hidden in the shadows of nobles plotting your end. They whisper in corners, exchange coded letters, send masked assassins through the night. You survive, not by strength, not by loyalty, but by luck, wit, and a cold logic that even you barely recognize. The taste of death on your tongue changes you. You feel the weight of every life you've deceived, every soul who kneels believing you are Dmitri. The cost of ambition presses on your chest like a stone. And yet, the climb continues. Every small victory leads to the next. A foreign envoy nods at your words, promises of power in their eyes. He speaks of alliances, or troops waiting at the border, of gold that could flow into your cause like a river in spring. He calls you Your Highness without hesitation, and you don't even flinch anymore. You nod back, measured, calm, royal. Inside, your mind is racing. You weren't born into this world. You studied it. You built it piece by piece. Every gesture rehearsed. Every pause calculated. Every word sharpened before it leaves your mouth. The envoy leaves satisfied. The doors close, and the silence feels different now. He believes you, not cautiously, not strategically, fully. You walk toward the window overlooking the courtyard. Soldiers train below, steel flashing in the sun. They shout your name as if it belongs to you. Dmitri. You test it again in your head. Dmitri. It doesn't feel stolen anymore. It feels earned. That realization unsettles you more than doubt ever did. Because at first, this was survival. You were hungry, forgotten, invisible. Now you're calculating supply lines, negotiating foreign support, deciding which noble rises and which one falls. You aren't pretending to rule, you are ruling. A servant enters quietly to refill your wine. He keeps his eyes lowered. His hands tremble slightly. Fear. Not suspicion, not curiosity, just fear. Now you no longer have to study the room. You feel it the moment you enter. Tension clings to certain shoulders. Ambition flashes in certain eyes. Once, when someone bowed to you, it felt wrong, embarrassing, like you should pull them up and tell them to stop. Now it's different. Now a bow tells you something. Who's loyal? Who's afraid? Who hesitates for half a second too long? You don't look at the floor when they kneel. You look at their hands. Are they steady, clenched, reluctant? You used to wonder if you belonged here. Now you wonder who doesn't. This is how it changes you, not in grand gestures, not in sudden cruelty, but in the quiet shift from doubt to assessment. And somewhere between all this, you stop asking whether you deserve it. You start asking how to keep it. That's the shift. That's the dangerous part, because the lie was once something you carried carefully, afraid it might slip. Now it fits you like armor. You tell yourself something simple. If I can rule well, does it matter how I began? If the country stabilizes under your hand, if famine eases, if order returns, does bloodline really matter? History remembers strength, not paperwork. And yet, when you're alone, when the halls are quiet and the candles burn low, a small voice still asks the question you refuse to answer. What happens if someone proves you wrong? Not whispers, not rumors, proof. But here's the truth you don't say out loud. What if they don't? What if no proof ever comes? What if the story hardens before the truth does? Because something unexpected begins to happen. The famine slows. Grain shipments arrive where they're needed. You remove a corrupt official and replace him with someone competent. Taxes stabilize. The streets of Moscow grow quieter at night. Not because of fear, because of order. And the people, the same people who once doubted, begin to cheer your name without hesitation. Not because they're fooled, because they are fed. That changes something inside you. At first, you were playing a role to survive. Then you were playing to win. Now, you are governing, actually governing. And that's when the danger becomes real. Ruling well makes people comfortable. Comfortable people grow loyal. Loyal people start to question the hand that fed them, the decisions that elevated them. The boyars notice. At first, they thought you would be easy, a puppet with a pulse, a banner they could wave while they pulled the strings. But now you audit grain stores, demand military reports, refuse decrees that would crush the starving. You smile while you refuse. That's when the whispers begin. He forgets who made him. He thinks he's real. He's becoming independent. One evening, a senior boyar visits. Candlelight flickers off the walls, casting long shadows. No ceremony, no witnesses, just wine poured, eyes unreadable. You were useful, he says. Do not confuse that with indispensable. You feel the leash. Cold, simple. One letter, one slip, and they could erase you. And yet the city thrives under your hand. Soldiers swear loyalty to you, not the boyars. Trade flows. Grain reaches the starving. People cheer your name, not because they're fooled, but because they are fed. Order brings a false calm, the kind that makes shadows move faster, plot harder. You sense it in the silence of streets, in the hesitant nod of a noble, the too quick salute of a soldier. You move through your halls like a shadow yourself now, measuring, calculating. Each gesture, each pause, each word is sharpened before it leaves your lips. The crown sits heavy, yes, but so does the knowledge that at any moment, everything could unravel. A courier arrives. No fanfare, no seal. Just a single sheet of paper, edges worn, ink black and smudged. We know who you are. You smile, calm, royal, but your hand trembles. A chill runs up your spine. For the first time, the truth hits harder than any threat. Being king isn't about power. It's about surviving the people who will never stop trying to unmake you. History does not pause. Moscow will not wait to see if you succeed, and neither will the shadows that follow every step you take. You fold the paper slowly, weighing every move, every ally, every lie. Because a ruler is forged not just by the crown on his head, but by the threats that lurk just behind it. Tonight, the city sleeps beneath your gaze, and you know one truth. The throne is never truly safe. Not for you, not for anyone. But holding the lie, bending the city, surviving the shadows, that is the closest thing to immortality you will ever know. And somewhere in the dark, someone waits for you to falter.